What if I told you Liverpool's loss to Manchester United wasn't just bad luck, but a series of avoidable mistakes? The truth behind their 2-1 defeat exposes shocking flaws in selection, fatigue management, and tactical decisions. Here is the second part of the analysis, focusing on Liverpool's performance in their match against Manchester United, which ended in a 2-1 loss for Liverpool. The reasons for this defeat need to be explored in detail. The first goal conceded by Liverpool was explained in Part 1, primarily due to fatigue affecting Virgil van Dijk and goalkeeper Georgi Mamardashvili after playing 2 international matches, leading to slower reactions. Ibrahima Konaté, who had just returned from injury and was immediately started, clearly lacked match fitness, as both goals were conceded in his vicinity. His form this season has been consistently poor, and it's baffling that manager Arne Slot continues to rely on him. On the bench, Curtis Jones, who didn't participate in international duty and was fresh, would have been a better choice. Given Liverpool's midfield struggles in this match, it might have been more effective to start Curtis Jones in the midfield, or even consider Gravenberch, who has shown decent performances in that role before. Some might argue that Liverpool was simply unlucky, hitting the woodwork 3 times, but was it purely a matter of luck? Analysing Cody Gakpo's performance more closely, most of his shots were poorly executed, and even his goal, which was an open chance, narrowly avoided hitting the post, indicating a stroke of luck rather than high-quality finishing. The other shots that hit the post included a failed cross that wasn't even intended to be a shot, and a difficult attempt where hitting the post was arguably a decent outcome. As for the first one-on-one chance that struck the post, it might seem unlucky at first glance, but reviewing the footage shows that Gakpo lacked the speed to break away from De Ligt, who was off balance, and instead opted for a long-range shot outside the box, increasing the difficulty of scoring. His lack of pace and ability to shake off defenders highlights his physical limitations. Additionally, Manchester United goalkeeper Sen Lamens made accurate judgments, meaning these missed chances had more to do with the player's decision-making, physical condition, and poor finishing, rather than sheer bad luck. Even considering Manchester United's 5-man defence, which compressed Liverpool's attacking space, the individual players' physical fatigue prevented them from performing at their best, pointing directly to rotation issues. Imagine if there had been sufficient squad rotation or willingness to give chances to other players in better form or with more speed, the outcome might have been entirely different. While Cody Gakpo's performance had a few glimpses of promise, Mohamed Salah was entirely off his game. Early in the 14th minute, he failed to handle a routine high ball and was easily dispossessed by Diogo Dalot. Then, in the 64th minute, with a golden opportunity, Salah, given his caliber, should have at least hit the target, but instead, his effort turned into a clearance. Salah's overall decision-making has matured over the years, and his attacking choices were mostly correct in this match. However, when correct decisions fail to translate into effective attacks, it's a sign of his declining physical abilities. In the past, his extraordinary individual talent could compensate for poor choices, but now his body can't keep up with his mind, making it unsustainable for him to remain a regular starter. Federico Chiesa has been in good form this season, immediately providing an assist upon coming on. In contrast, Salah's passes lacked quality throughout the match. In the 81st minute, he even disrupted Chiesa's opportunity by attempting a difficult backheel that went out of play. Chiesa, facing the goal, could have either shot or made a cross. Jeremy Frimpong, though not a regular attacking option, immediately made an impact by delivering a cross from the wing upon replacing Salah, but Gakpo misjudged the header. Gakpo's finishing was consistently off throughout the game, to the extent that even his shots nearly missed the target. It's almost as if he couldn't even aim straight when going to the restroom after the match. Just a bit of humour, of course. As for Hugo Ekitike, should he have been a starter? Before the match, there were concerns that Alexander Isak's speed would dominate Harry Maguire, but Manchester United's defenders were well rested, while Isak, having played 2 international matches, couldn't capitalise on his speed and failed to make the most of his limited chances. Proper rotation, bringing in players like Curtis Jones, Federico Chiesa or Hugo Ekitike to reduce the total international match minutes to around 1,000 might have improved the situation. Virgil van Dijk mentioned after the match that the team was too hasty. However, reviewing the game, the players didn't seem overly rushed, and their crossing choices were relatively reasonable. While their decision-making wasn't terrible, the lack of effectiveness highlighted the physical and rotation issues. The starting lineup was poorly selected, and despite trailing at halftime, substitutions weren't made until the 60th minute, slower even than Manchester United manager Ruben Amorim's response. Liverpool's bench strength is considerable, and it was reasonable to expect a comeback after adjustments. Indeed, the team briefly equalised after substitutions, with Wirtz playing a crucial role in the build-up, holding the ball in a tight angle and delivering a precise pass to Chiesa, who crossed low to create a clear chance, turning the momentum momentarily. However, the failure to hold on for a 1-1 draw was due to a critical tactical mistake by manager Arne Slot. Under normal circumstances, replacing tired players and maintaining a 4-2-3-1 formation to secure a point after equalising would have been the logical choice. Instead, Slot switched to a 4-2-4 formation, which was essentially suicidal. As explained in Part 1, Manchester United's 3-4-3 formation exploited quick counter-attacks, specifically targeting midfield superiority. Liverpool's 4-2-3-1 was already struggling in midfield battles, and switching to 4-2-4 further weakened their defensive midfield, especially with Wirtz, who isn't a strong tackler. This adjustment made it easier for Liverpool to lose midfield control, resulting in the decisive corner that led to the loss. This was entirely due to Slot's over-ambition. The delayed substitutions forced him into adopting an even more aggressive 4-2-4 formation in a desperate attempt to score. Another fatal decision was using Szoboszlai as a right-back. This wasn't new, as similar issues were exposed against Galatasaray. The second goal conceded was directly linked to Szoboszlai. Why did Liverpool lose the midfield battle? It started with Mamardashvili hastily clearing the ball to the centre, leading to an aerial duel in which the 4-2-4 formation, lacking midfield numbers, was naturally disadvantaged. Why did Mamardashvili need to clear the ball so urgently? Because Szoboszlai mishandled a throw-in, passing it back to the goalkeeper, putting Mamardashvili under pressure. Unable to use his hands, Mamardashvili had to make a hurried clearance, which directly led to losing midfield possession and subsequently conceding. Szoboszlai, who has always played as a central midfielder, simply isn't suited to handle throw-ins as a right-back. This mistake was entirely due to poor selection and lack of specific coaching from the manager. Had the throw-in been directed forward, the match might have ended 1-1. Additionally, insisting on starting Mohamed Salah contributed to the need to use a 4-2-4 formation. The team isn't in a phase where constant tactical experimentation is necessary, as the losses are consistently tied to Szoboszlai and Salah's performance issues. There are capable players on the bench being ignored, making these losses a result of poor decisions rather than random exploration. Continued reliance on underperforming players isn't an effective way to build the team. Understanding that this year's squad has undergone significant changes and needs time to gel is important. However, Salah's position as a starter doesn't require further testing. His abilities and style are well understood. Salah's decline this season isn't solely due to the lack of support from Trent Alexander-Arnold. Trent's style requires a forward with sufficient speed to complement, and Salah's declining pace has weakened their synergy. Using Connor Bradley or Jeremy Frimpong might be more appropriate. When Salah isn't in form, he should be rotated out. Veteran players deserve respect, but when their form declines, they should step aside for the bench. Salah should consider retiring from international duty to focus on club football or discuss reducing his playing time with the manager. Given his age and recent form, last season he performed well for only half the season. Allocating half his playing time to others is reasonable. This requires honest communication between the player and the manager. Liverpool, after 4 consecutive losses, is in a morale slump. How the team adjusts and when it will recover depends on the manager making the right rotation and tactical decisions to avoid repeating the same mistakes. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to support the channel.